Agenda. We have 2 modifications under new business. We have 5 new hire and 6 retirement. Any other modifications of the agenda? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of minutes. First, we have to approve the August 25th, 2025 minutes that were sent for the public minutes. Any gross errors, issues, or concerns regarding the minutes from August of 25th of 2025. There we go.
I have just one, not a correction, but as much as awareness around the change and update in the RSAs, which in turn updates our policy, is according to the updates, the minutes have to have a start and end time, which we do, but also the name of the person who put the minutes together. So you need to add Ruth, you need to add your name to it. At the end that says respectfully submitted Ruth Whittier clerk. Or something has to be at the end of the minutes.
She did.
Oh, she did?
Respectfully submitted by Ruth
Where is
Whittier, school board clerk, the second to last paragraph, right there. And then she has district staff, and then she has public, right there. Right there. No. Respectfully submitted by Ruth.
Oh, I looked at the very bottom and there was something at the bottom, so I assumed hers wasn't there.
No, that's okay.
Good.
Well, it's funny, I'm like, I thought she usually wrote her name at the end.
Well, when we updated the policy, I immediately turned to them and I looked and I go, no, it's not there at the very end.
Motion to
Thank
approve
you.
the August 25th, 2025 public minute.
I'll second. Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. Okay. Next, we need to approve the non-public meeting minutes from tonight. Any errors, issues, recommendations, concerns? Okay. Seeing none, I need a motion.
Make a motion.
Okay. I'll second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. That's the truth. Next, we will open it up for public comments. Lots of people already for public comments. Okay. Well, if anybody changed their mind, please let us know. But it was opened at 6:32 p.m. because we have to have at least a minimum of 30 minutes. All right. There would therefore be no response to public comments since there was no public comments. Any correspondence?
No.
Okay. Announcements and recognition. We will go with the student report first.
Alrighty. So our sports teams all kicked off this year with some very incredible performances, from thrilling victories to just outstanding individual efforts coming from both girls soccer, boys soccer, cross country, field hockey, and volleyball. All have had games within this first week of school, which I know was challenging for a lot of athletes juggling that first week and their athletics. And it's just inspiring already to see so much school spirit with homecoming coming up in the next few weeks. I believe the week of the 25th is homecoming, so just continuing to cheer on and kind of support our student athletes. As for what's going on in the classroom, we had our class meetings on Friday. This is when information about fundraising is shared. The freshman class will start to work on their elections for their class officers, and discussions were held around senior class trip, senior apparel, and just moving forward for senior year. So just taking steps to kind of organize events and initiatives moving forward. As for extracurriculars, most clubs begin meeting either at the end of this week or the beginning of next, with Project Promise starting up next Monday. Clubs like Student Staff Senate and SALT, however, have started to meet by the end of this week, and we're all just kind of working towards open house, which is the 17th from 5:30 to 7. We all were tasked with making a trifold board to represent the club itself and any applications that any new recruits would have to go through. So most clubs are just starting to work on that and get it ready in time for open house. And the freshman class is just such a large class coming in. We've already seen so much engagement of kids asking, how do I sign up? Where do I sign up? How do I get involved? Which is just really encouraging to see already from a group that is literally only in their first week.
Yeah.
And I think that's everything.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Superintendent.
Great opening week last week for kids. It's one of the best weeks of the year. I think that and senior week are 2 of the greatest highlights. Bristol PTO is up and running right away they have their mum sale fundraiser from Mums Only 1050. And wanted to thank all 3 elementary school PTOs for supporting our Welcome Back staff lunch during the first teacher week. In a joint effort with administration, the 3 elementary PTOs, 1 donated drinks, 1 donated chips, and 1 donated dessert. So wanted to thank all of them for all they do for supporting our students and our staff. Reminder of the open houses, Leah mentioned the high schools is next week. This week we have Danbury this Thursday night. Next week we have the high school on a Wednesday and the middle school on Thursday. And then the following week, on the 24th, we have BES and 25th and New Hampton Community School. Prior to as a soft open house at the last week of August, BES had their traditional popsicles in the park. DES had their back to school night, and New Hampton Community School had their ice cream socials. We're going to talk about a field trip later tonight, but the Newfound Coalition for Youth is already up and running and planning on bringing a group of students and staff to Keene State on September 24th and 25th. It would be combined with a college visit along with seeing a live assembly led by Chris Herron. He was a professional basketball player. We played the movie for the students and the public here called The First Day, but he is speaking at Keene, and our students and staff that are going with the Coalition for Youth will get to see him in person. And then the next day they're going to shadow Keene High School's restorative justice program. As you may recall from our strategic plan, restorative strategies and discipline were one of the things in the plan, and we're hitting the ground running right away and bringing students and staff out there. Just to add on the athletics piece of what Leah brought up, 160 high school students signed up for athletics this fall. That's 41% of the student body. Really, really impressive. Middle school, their numbers are looking good too. Both middle school and high school football, which we've struggled with numbers in the past, both look healthy, look good. We have 6th grade athletes joining us from Jenny Blake and Pasquani.
How many? I'm sorry?
I said 6th grade. I didn't say how many, but
Oh, okay.
I have...
Sixth grade, both Pasquani and Hill have joined football?
No, it's 6th grade athletics.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And other impressive numbers this year. 37 students attending Hewitt, and there'll be a 38th in the spring, and 9 students attending the Winnisquam. This is our CTE programs at both. So between the two, 46 to 47 students across fields, which is animal science and engineering, between the 2 buildings, a lot of medical and science, and then the trades, so, and outdoor, like the outdoor resources, and some wonderful numbers. NHIA spring sportsmanship ratings. Newfound was rated 11th in the entire state for our sportsmanship for spring of 2025. Yeah. 5th in Division 3, which tells you Division 3 must be pretty
sportsmanlike.
Yeah. So we should be very proud of that.
Wow, it's very good.
And then just little grant news in that using our Title IV grant money for math and literacy materials for students in the classroom, Title II monies for teacher PD in assessment accountability conference, as well as the literacy conference this fall. And right now we're securing a promising futures to supplement some of the substance prevention materials and curriculum. And then we also, as of last Friday, officially had our preschool approved by the state because it moved from building to building. So we did have it approved. Congratulations, one of our preschool teachers here tonight. Project Promise does start next week at the elementary school and the high school, and then 2 weeks later at the middle school. So, and then lastly, I just share just for. We had a teacher who worked at Newfound for 34 years and even came back for 2 encore presentations when we needed. long-term subs for various reasons. And in mid-August, he passed away after a year of battling cancer. Roger Shelton worked at Newfound since, gosh,
I had him in high school.
You had him in high school. So his memorial service was this past week in Guilford, and it was really nice to see generations of teachers and staff that worked with him over a career of more than 35 years all show up and speak to him and the impact he's had on his life. And he had a huge impact on Newfound. So.
There were some pretty amazing stories even out on Facebook about different things, students challenging different things and the periodic elements, and him going, well, you'd want to make something, always honoring that and teaching the science lesson in regards to whatever crazy question or theory might be asked of him.
And he's the quiet founder behind the faculty award for seniors, the scholarship that goes to, he's been selling K-Cups to staff for decades to raise money for that. And this year, Mr. Robert and I talked about renaming it the Roger Shelton Faculty Award. So. Good.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to the summer ELO to Acadia presentation.
Yeah, so you have heard from me before about ELOs here, but we're anxious to share our experience this summer. My co-facilitator, Kelsey Heath, come on up here. We go on this experience together. I've been for 4 years now. Yeah. It's been a bunch of times. So we put together a little summary for this year, and we're just going to tag team through a couple things, but we know what you're really excited to hear from are the students, so we'll get them up here in just a minute. So we've been going in June for years, and I think one of the things we're really proud of this year is feeling like we just nailed the absolute best agenda we've had yet, just really, really knowing the timing and putting it all together in a way that we felt was really, really strong. We have that prescribed agenda, which is largely driven by the tides. You gotta go when the tides are throughout the day, but we also have a wonderful chance for students to do other things that they can just choose to do. I choose to get up around 5 and go for a run, but this intrepid woman gets up with them at 4 and takes them to see sunrise. So that's a picture there, and that's at Blueberry Point, which is right near the campus where we stay at Schoodic Point. It's an institute that is a research campus, so it's a great experience for the students to see what it's like to be immersed in a research campus like that.
When we start our agenda, we get to Schoodic, and it's a long trip. It's 4 or 5 hours, depending on traffic. So we actually stop at Blueberry Point. That was one of the things we initiated last year that really worked well this year for us, is to kind of get the kids out of the vans, get them moving right away. So we start with hiking Blueberry Point, and then we kind of tie it back on the last morning and go to sunrise there. So that's like the best view of the sunrise.
Just behind us, sort of adjacent to it, is a trail that we go up the minute we get out of the vans, right guys? Yeah. All right, so one of the reasons why we picked these 2 students to speak to you is because they both did such an outstanding job, but they really approached the research piece in 2 different ways. So I thought it would be helpful to set a little bit of a stage of the who and the what, and then turn it over to them. So we take 12 students each year, which is a great size. It happens to be what fits in the 2 8-passenger vehicles plus 4 adults kind of combo going. So that's been a powerful number for a small group. So as it says, 4 educators, 4 days, typically a Tuesday through Friday, which allows us to, as adults, to come in here on a Monday and really get ready for everything and be ready for that departure. Back in the day, we used to leave later in the morning, and we found that an 8 a.m. departure and get going so we can get that hike in is the best. So as I mentioned, just really having nailed the agenda. When this program started out, it was called Acadia Adventure, the Economics and Ecology of Acadia National Park. And we certainly do cover both of those, but as you can see from that bullet there, we have lots of other pieces that go on. That first hike, they are looking at forest ecology when we head out. And that night, Mr. Baker gives them a lecture on externalities and the impacts of, and thoughts behind the costs and realities of public lands. They've got pros and cons to them, right? There's a cost to everything that you do. We include wellness, history, A really great emphasis this year as Mr. Alec Dostie joined us. He has a personal interest in indigenous people, and so added a stronger component of that this year. We're really big on accountability.
Yeah, we added, so besides our regular accountability rubric here at the high school, we added a piece on this trip for decorum. So we really hold our kids to a high standard of, like, we're in public, we're at a research institute, we're letting them kind of explore Bar Harbor and what that looks like. So we really hold them accountable of, like, saying please and thank you when people serve your food and pushing in your chairs and keeping the conversations appropriate because we're eating meat or breakfast with other research groups and other people. So we kind of hold them to that higher accountability piece of, here, like, you're young adults in a different setting, represent yourselves to a higher standard as well.
And transferable skills for sure. Not only those things of accountability, but communication and time management. And they are wrapped into the accountability rubric, but lots of other transferable skills too. And truly, every single thing we do on this trip, ask those two guys, enforces, upholds our core values: perseverance, respect, growth, discovery, and independence. So it's really grounded in what we as a newfound regional high school community believe in. And then where do we go? I mentioned Schoodic Research Institute. That's where we stay. That's where we have our meals. Although it was interesting this year because we couldn't get off the island due to 2 car accidents, and we had to have a little different meal plan but for that one evening. So it's different every year. The Abbey Museum is in Bar Harbor. It is a subsidiary of the Smithsonian, so it's incredibly high quality. I have to mention to you how proud I was of one student, Coretta, this year. She presented on Indigenous people, so she presented on the green in Bar Harbor. Some of you may be familiar, right before we visited the museum, and how thoughtful it was of her own doing to think of giving the group prompts for visiting the museum. So she gave all of us questions to address while we were in the museum. So these kids are really, really thinking and pulling it together. Of course, the park, a place called the Oceanarium where there's wonderful touch tanks where they can see a lot of the intertidal creatures. We sail on a schooner. We visited the museum called the Rockefeller Center at Schoodic itself. They get to go to the bar and understand why it's called Bar Harbor and that there is a sandbar and it connects to Bar Island, and they walk it and they're on it and they experience all of that.
The tide actually worked out perfectly. We were on the schooner this year, so they saw it with the water, so they couldn't see the bar, and once we got off, the bar was visible. So they got to connect those 2 pieces, and while we were there exploring the bar, a little deer just came out of nowhere and was running down the bar and weaving through people. So a cool experience there too.
Tide's coming in, gotta run for it.
Yeah.
And then on our way back, we have discovered that going to the Penobscot Narrows Bridge, which has an observation tower, and also the military fort there, really does a great job of kind of capstoning even more about the externalities, about the economic impacts and the long and rich human history in the area. So with that, we're gonna, we're good?
We're good.
With that, we're gonna turn it over. And just to put it in perspective a little bit, I'm gonna ask Gavin to come up first. We, day 2 in the morning, get up and go. And if you've ever been to Acadia, Beehive is no joke. It is a very serious hike. So by the time people get to the top, they are feeling such a sense of accomplishment, but they just were a little scared and they're also exhausted. And so what was really great about Gavin's time there was he did such a super example of how you can just speak to people and you're able to connect with them and you don't have to have fancy props. So I'm gonna just do your thing, Gavin.
My name's Gavin. I'm a junior at the high school. I was lucky enough to go to Acadia this year. I had a super awesome time, so I'm very happy to talk about it with you guys. My project was how mental health is affected by the outdoors and how it can be benefited. A few benefits are just like feeling accomplished. It's like when you're outside, you can feel accomplished more rather than like being inside. You're kind of blah, just sitting there doing nothing. You don't feel it's accomplished. You feel more physically able, especially when you're moving around. Like I know from the beginning of the hike, you can actually see where we parked in the parking lot there. I was pretty tired in the morning because we had a long day the day before. And then by the time I got to the top, I felt energized, even though I just blew off a lot of energy. I just felt like the adrenaline was going. I felt so great about myself. I felt more physically better, and I feel like for me that's just a better experience than just staying at home all summer. What I found really interesting when I was looking into this was the scientific side of it and how the sun and vitamin D connect to dopamine releases in your brain. I thought that was super awesome, and I had so much fun just researching all of it. And really the important thing about this was the disconnection from everything. So being off all your electronics, talking to people instead, which actually you can see that changing this year too with our phone rules. That's pretty cool, I think. I think for everyone it's different for your own coping for life, because life's going to kick you down sometimes. And for me, being outside, that's a great way to cope, and that's why I chose this, because you can see that it reflected on Acadia, because we were always outside, we were always out and about doing something. There's very little time where we were inside. It was like when we were eating food in the mornings, at night, in the foyer and all that stuff. I chose this topic because during a presentation last year at school, I don't remember what it was, but they said a number and it was like 21 or 20% of teenagers my age have mental health issues, and that just kind of hit me pretty hard because that's like 1 in 5 kids, and that just kind of made me realize that's really an issue in our culture these days. So I wanted to try to find a way how Acadia can correlate with that and how we could try to fix that. While I was in Acadia, I just saw all these different ecosystems, which I thought was pretty cool. So like, you'd go past the Rocky Mountain, like rocky areas and stuff, and then it's the beach, and then it's the woodsy. Like, we saw so many deer, so much wildlife. The sea creatures were awesome. We saw a bunch of seals and stuff. Then you could go to the towns where you saw it was busier, all like the little lobster shops and all that stuff. It was super cool, like in town, and then in the park, and then on the beaches. It was awesome. For me, obviously it's being outside to cope, but that's not the same for everyone. Everyone's a little different. I'm more kinesthetic. I love to move around. When I move around, my mind's cleared. I feel a lot more clear. I feel like I'm a better person when I'm out and about. For some people, maybe it's, talking to someone or reading a book, whatever you prefer. Everyone's different. Just because I'm presenting this on being outdoors doesn't mean everyone has to be all outdoors and stuff. It's just, this is a really great way, I think, in my opinion, to make your mental health better. And kind of just to backtrack a little bit all the way back to the idea of Acadia, I think Acadia really changed my point of view of life. I know that looking back on the summer, if I think of the highlights of the summer, I definitely think of Acadia first, because the rest of the summer I was kind of just working. So. But really, Acadia was super awesome because you got to connect with other people. We weren't on our phones that often or any of the technology. The writing prompts at the end of the day, we did a writing prompt every night. The teachers would write up questions about the stuff we did during the day, and we'd have to write back in our journals about it. Obviously, some people were kind of just there to do that, like the outdoorsy stuff. They didn't really want to write, and I didn't want to write either. But I found out by the time I was done writing, I reflected on myself more. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I feel so much more changed from that. Just in my responses, they were so lengthy, and I'm like, I didn't even try to do that. I thought it was pretty awesome. But overall, I think Acadia is a super good experience that I hope everyone gets to enjoy at some point. And I'm just very thankful to get the opportunity to go to Acadia. Thank you.
Gavin.
Good job.
Gavin.
So as you're probably gathering, just like with all other ELOs, the students had a research project they had to complete as part of the experience. And so they got to choose when and where throughout the trip they presented. So in contrast, Zach was prepared to do a presentation in the evening when we were back at the Dining Commons. And so we'll turn things over to Zach, and you can see the difference where he used visuals rather than just, I have to say, it was more stunning the first time, Gavin, right? Because we were really there. The picture doesn't do it justice. That button on the right should be set, Zach.
All right. Can everybody see the screen okay? All right. So my name is Zach. I am also a junior. And I want to start off by thanking you guys for squeezing us in your tight schedule. I know you have a lot to talk about, but I do really appreciate you letting us present our projects, because this Acadia trip was, piggybacking off what Gavin said, highlighted my summer for sure. So my research topic was focused on how tourists impact the park ecosystem when hiking and when visiting. So to start off, why does it really matter? Acadia National Park has over 4 million visitors a year, and all of that foot traffic can negatively affect the trails if visitors are not careful. Today I'm going to be talking about how tourists affect the park's ecosystem when hiking, and more importantly, how we can help prevent any damages. So what happens when visitors don't respect their surroundings? The first point I have is littering and pollution. Leaving trash, even if it's just a small scrap, can attract unwanted wildlife and disrupt the natural environment. It can also dull the beauty of Acadia National Park. I know when we were hiking, we had a set goal to pick up 2-3 pieces of trash. And I think that was a really good idea because not everybody visiting Acadia is mindful of their trash. So if we have people coming in and making sure, oh hey, piece of trash, pick it up, throw it out on your way out, really helps keep the ecosystem good. The second one I have is increased risk of fire. If visitors don't follow campfire guidelines or leave campfires unattended, it can lead to wildfires and that threaten the park's ecosystem and the surrounding environment and communities. The negative impact it has on visitors themselves. Not following park rules and etiquette can make the experience for others less enjoyable. This can lead to overcrowding, noise pollution, and just an unpleasant atmosphere. And some long-term consequences, when visitors disrespect the park's rules and ecosystems, it can make it harder to preserve the land. This will limit what the park can become in the future. National parks are not for people, it's for to help preserve the land. I think we're just all so lucky to have the ability to go and visit these parks because again, we're trying to preserve the land, make sure it stays in good shape and hopefully outlast a while. And respecting our national parks can help make sure that we keep plants and animals living there safe and protected for many, many generations. So what happens when visitors go off trail? When hikers don't stay on trail, many negative things can occur. The first one is trail erosion. When you don't stay on designated paths, it can lead to erosion in the soil. The more people who walk off the trail, the wider it gets. This can destabilize the soil and make it harder for plants to grow. Most damage to vegetation. Most trails are designed to minimize the impact on the surrounding vegetation. Going off trail can kill or damage native plants, which makes it harder for them to recover. And this then disrupts the food chain. Wildlife that depend on those plants now have lost a food source. Moving on to wildlife disturbance. When humans don't stay on the trail, they can disrupt their surrounding wildlife. Animals may abandon their nests or feeding grounds due to human activity. The combination of trail erosion, damage to vegetation, and wildlife disturbance can alter the ecosystem at Acadia, and this can lead to negative lasting changes in habitat quality and biodiversity. And the most important part, I feel, what can we do as visitors to help preserve this land? We can enjoy Acadia and also preserve it at the same time. It's a good blend. I think the most important part is just staying on the trail. Previously sitting on the other side, going off trail kills vegetation, which is a huge issue. Not picking plants or feeding the animals. We want animals to not fear humans, but we don't want them to be friendly. We want them to be able to live on their own without the reliability of, hey, a human's there is going to feed me a pizza or breadcrumbs and whatnot. Packing out all your trash, even if it's not your own. Backtracking to the hike, picking up other people's trash. It may be gross, but you're bettering the ecosystem. You can always wash your hands. Watching over any and all fires, making sure those are staying under control and not damaging any sparks flying off, landing on the ground, making sure those don't start anything. Also following park rules and regulations and using designated restrooms, not in nature. And I have a couple photos here. We have a barred owlet and a yellow-bellied sapsucker. And that's everything.
Thank you.
We're just about done, but we just wanted to show you this slide of the ongoing inspiration that we started at the beginning of this trip, and then Zach, I think, really cemented with his message, and the students were just dedicated litter picker-uppers the whole time. And they were proud of it, and they have to do a project at the end where they put pictures together, and a couple of girls picked this as their highlight picture to put in that project because they were that impacted by making sure that they were cleaning up the park. So we're happy to be here and love to answer your questions, if there are any, or they will.
What, this is for both of you guys, I guess. So you had this great experience, did some research. Is there anything you can bring back to Newfound that you think we could change in terms of practices, getting outside more for classes or anything like that? Picking up trash in the hallways?
I think definitely using the outdoor classroom more often is very beneficial, because I remember my freshman year, I was doing a walk around the school. I don't remember what class it was, but they pointed out the outdoor classroom, and since that, I've never ever used the outdoor classroom in my life. I know Mr. Dumont's classes with science were always outside pretty frequently, but most of the other classes, you're not outside too much, and I feel like that's kind of handicapping students a little bit, because especially with reading, you have the opportunity to be outside. It's much more peaceful. Get away from all the noise of all the kids screaming down hallways, and the intercoms and stuff. I think it could be really beneficial to students, but I feel like we underuse our resources outside a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we have a beautiful campus and we have plenty of spaces to go. I think the only class that wouldn't be able to go outside is the cooking class because they need a kitchen. But math class, you can bring out whiteboards, you can bring out papers. Science, again, outside no matter what. PE, you can be outside. Literacy classes, again, you can just bring your books outside. So I think incorporating that within our learning could be super beneficial.
Thanks.
Thank you. I just have one
Okay.
random question. And maybe you guys know it, maybe you don't. How come we rent buses instead of just using our vans now?
I do know the answer to that.
We do.
So before we had district vans,
Yeah.
we started with rentals.
Correct.
Then the truth really is there was a little problem with one year, and they really owed us kind of some deals. And so far, Enterprise has, so when we calculate the per mile cost and the wear and tear on our, we were like, well, we'll just take their rentals. Because it was actually such a good weekly rental for both of them. So that was a huge driving force in our decision this year. We did look at that and we considered
Gotcha.
taking the district vans.
Gotcha.
And then a reminder, the Acadia trip is also federally grant funded.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, thanks.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great.
Great job.
Beautiful up there.
Yeah. Mrs. Oldo, I think you could go outside. You could barbecue.
Yeah.
Sitting over a campfire could be a whole thing. What can you make it?
No campfires right now.
Well, no,
That sounds like a new elective outdoor.
Believe me, I know.
Yeah.
I have all of my business stuff that we usually burn this time of year. And when we're done with this, then I have wood stove that I can burn it, like the stuff that you don't want in the garbage.
Yeah, I don't know if the soccer
overflow.
field needs to be lit on fire.
No lighting the soccer field on fire right
We're
now.
preserving that to the best of our abilities.
Although the field hockey field doesn't look bad.
No,
It's actually done pretty well.
It's definitely improved.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Thank you guys.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you very
Good
much.
job.
Good job.
All right, financial manifest.
We don't have any for
Okay.
tonight, but we did have the signups, and we believe you all filled it. So, perfect.
Perfect. Committee reports. Budget committee?
We did need to talk about their role in the special meeting process, which we'll talk about in old business too, is where we are. So the budget committee is aware that they do have a role in the special meeting process, that there will be a budget hearing prior to a deliberative session, prior to a ballot vote, just like the normal course of our annual meeting. Also, we started just reviewing the budget timeline for the fiscal year '27, so our meeting was just about those two items.
Okay. Perfect. Facilities committee?
We had a meeting scheduled for tomorrow, but it is going to be rescheduled. So I'll let you know what that date is.
Okay. Policy committee?
We met,
We met, we have a lot of first readings that are gonna be coming to the board, so be prepared.
don't be intimidated by next meeting's agenda, it is a long. But what we had is we had the spring update from the School Boards
Oh, that's
Association
right,
was
yeah.
late last year, so we didn't get it in before the end of the year. Plus, there was a summer update around some of the immediate things in the legislature that have to go in immediately. And I suspect the fall update, when it comes out, will be pretty big as well because of the legislative update. We had a very active
Did you want to bring up the task force?
Yeah, I was going to do it under old business. We have
Okay.
the personnel communication device update. but
Perfect, yep,
yeah,
yep.
Either way, great.
Nope.
Okay. Curriculum committee, no meetings. Building committee,
We last met in July, and we don't have anything on the books as of yet. Maybe after
tonight's
Banwell
Banwell
yeah,
and
building
all that, we
study.
can get one on the books.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Wellness committee,
Jason, CV, and I are meeting later this week to start planning the triennial self-evaluation that you have to do as a district as
Okay.
once every 3 years, and then we'll schedule a wellness meeting after that.
okay. And tech council, no meeting, right?
I don't believe they've met yet.
And negotiations, we have our first meeting on Wednesday.
Yep.
Okay. Old business, 1020 North Main Street property.
So in the continued, just informing the public, the next step in this process is next Tuesday. Fran and I will be going up to the Grafton Superior Court in North Haverhill to plead our case to the judge of why we need a special meeting. We've already submitted our petition, and that's our scheduled hearing date. Also, just for the public, we're going to be posting on our website just a calendar of all the events that go around a special meeting, like when we need to post things, when certain hearings and meetings are, just so the public can stay informed and they'll see the calendar of events. So please look for that on our website as well.
Okay. Newfound Pasquaney Asset Separation Agreement, that's still, we don't have anything to decide on.
Still waiting to hear back from their council.
Okay. Update on HB2 prohibition on diversity, equity, and inclusion in public schools.
So those that may have been following the mandate from the federal government and in turn the state government that we have to submit a DEI or I guess a non-DEI certification, that all school districts had to do that by September 5th. The courts put a temporary restraining order on that till September 18th as they review the case, as I believe the ACLU along with NEA has challenged the requirement for many reasons, and one of it being very vague about accountability for school districts who may contract with a vendor, even if they didn't know that vendor may use practices, the school district could still lose federal funding. And so there's a lot of reasons why they're challenging this. So the TRO turned out that it applied to all schools in New Hampshire with the exception of, I think, 5. And one of those 5 was Newfound, and it had to do around with union membership, because Newfound are AFT versus NEA. But in speaking with attorneys, they said in reading the TRO more carefully that it does apply to any school district that is in a contract that involves any kind of student tuition with any of the other districts is covered by this. And I believe the Drummond Woodson law firm was also urging the state's council to, what are you going to make those other 5 file a separate law school suit? It's just going to tie everything up. So we were advised by council not to sign it. We do have tuition contracts with neighboring school districts where students are sent here and we send students there. I mean, 2 examples are our CTE contracts, as well as that Lakes region shared classes and tuition contract we signed last spring. So, update on that. I know the last couple meetings, some of the public have been interested in that topic. So,
Okay, thank you very much. Next, update on student personal communication devices.
So as a recommendation of our policy committee, based on our conversation there and our feedback from the public and our student rep last time,
We're going to launch a task force, and within that we're going to look at opportunities for students to engage in professional development in a structured manner. So that way we're not cutting off opportunities for the students and making sure that it's done in line with what the state expects. Because now the state has kind of thrown it back on the schools regarding laptops, how they're waffling a little bit with their language. So
So we're going to do a task force with representatives from staff, students, and parents.
a parent.
And we had a parent who spoke last time at our board meeting who also came to our policy committee. And
Sat through all those policies just for that one.
I know.
She came for the last, it was for the last policy on the agenda.
Yeah.
But in that test, we're going to address the issues around VLAX, around access for career and scholarship, like in talking about is there a safe use zone that we know is, I like the word you use, professional for students, a professional environment where a school-issued Chromebook isn't going to cut it. So what else? How can we help them gain access for that specific purpose? So more to come on that task force. I'm going to be meeting with my building administrators next week, and I'm going to task them to tap some students and others. So
Robert's already out there tapping kids.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
Yep.
great. And just to piggyback really quickly, kind of on what Gavin presented today about mental health, and when he talked about being disconnected from his devices while he was up at Acadia. I walked through every classroom today in the high school, and for the first time in over a decade, I didn't see a single cell phone. And kids were very chatty and engaging, and I asked, I'm like, what do you do at lunch? And they said, I played cards with my friend. And the teachers and some of the students commented, the cafeteria is so loud now because everyone talks to each other.
I actually bumped into Mr. Larson in the grocery store the other day, and we were talking about how refreshing and how exciting that must be to be sitting in an environment where people are actually talking instead of this.
There's been some intense games of Uno.
Yeah.
At the lunchroom table.
That's what I've
Got the
heard.
chessboards out yet?
No, we're still on Uno, thankfully. But
Max and Russell play. Some of the freshmen, there's a big group of chess players.
yes.
Nice.
So, but that's good. I mean, playing games and even card games. It's fun, something different. You're giggling, skip. Haha. All right, new business, Banwell Building Study Proposal Contract.
So I sent the board a proposal from Banwell to do a study on our facilities. They did this a few years ago, as some of you may have recalled, and I don't think it really went anywhere at the time. And I think the study back then was very broad about should we fix up which of our buildings, and where this time we have tasked them in an effort to,
We were engaging them right before the
pandemic.
No, it was
Right before Pasquani.
Right before Pasquani, and
Okay.
that all passed, so we kind of had to put everything on hold, just not knowing and waiting for that vote and things like that. So it's been kind of lingering for a couple of years now.
So we have asked them this time to look at a single project, which is to reduce the number of facilities for a district our size of population. We are managing a number of buildings, and fiscally it makes more sense, as well as to upkeep of very aging facilities to look at. We've asked them to do a plan and a proposal for a pre-K through 6 at our existing middle school with some renovation, as well as renovation here at the high school of adding a wing for 7-8. So we have the timeline is they'll be doing some of the gathering of information and study this fall. They'll be working on the proposal in the spring, and they'll have the final design options for us in the summer into next fall. And if this was something that we were looking to do, it would be on the town meeting process of 2027, of the spring of 2027. But the first step is to engage them. Engaging them is not exactly starting from scratch, because they did do this for us before, It won't be as costly, and they have some of our initial information that they started with a couple of years ago, so.
Right, and they were the ones who did a whole full assessment of each of the schools and the number of areas that need some work.
Yeah.
They did the full assessment of each school building.
And
Well, then it was also combined with like that teacher survey of like all of the, your pie in the sky ideas of everything you could ever possibly want to put in a school building too, so, kind of dialing back some of those things to something more.
Well, I think,
more
right, and I
realistic,
think now it's a little bit
And this
different.
could be one of the more focused,
Look at that.
a more focused plan for
Right.
them in the sense that,
You'd narrow down the demographic that's gonna utilize the space
Yeah.
versus.
Yes, so
More direction.
So they did school walkthroughs, November of 2022 with the reports in
So 3 years
April
ago.
of 2023. And looking, they literally took pictures of conditions of our buildings and all of the buildings,
Yeah.
so,
And they had the videos that they posted online too.
Yes.
Of all of the,
next meeting, we have EEI coming to present to us about some of the energy efficiency issues, particularly at the high school. Some of their recommendations, probably because of the mere cost of all this, and could go well with timing of a renovation anyways of 2 buildings versus as separate projects, but you'll see some of those at the next meeting. I don't know if there's any other questions on the Banwell proposal that we sent out. And then, once the board does approve it, and we'll also include it in our materials and minutes so that it will become public document, so.
Well, you hate to spend the money, but, the point has come where we can't continue to bury our head in the sand. We have to move forward for the future and what makes sense for the district.
I agree, and it sounds like we've spent, almost half of the money anyway, and we need a result, so it doesn't make any sense to quit now.
And at the end of the day, a service like this isn't gonna get cheaper in cost the longer we wait to do it. It's just inherently going to be more, and if we lose this relationship, we could end up in a position where we have to start again from scratch. And then we're spending money that we don't need to.
And Joe, I believe when we had Banwell into our building committee, one of the things they also said was, even renovating these 2 buildings would be less expensive than building a brand-new regional elementary school.
Oh,
So,
God, yeah.
And sometimes that's not always the case when you say renovate versus
Right.
new, but in this case, they already determined that for us. so.
in our elementary schools, unfortunately, our elementary schools are at a point where you're either gonna have to drop a lot of money into them because they're just in such rough shape, or we need to look at the big picture, so.
Motion to approve the Banwell contract.
I will second.
Okay, any further discussion?
No.
Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, okay? Next, superintendent evaluation survey.
Yeah, when you and I met to go over my evaluation last spring, one of the things you had mentioned is, there's so much that the 5 of you see in my performance, but it would be nice to hear back from the people that see me every day and work with me every day at the SAU or at the, my building administrators and others. So you had tasked me with creating some sort of survey, so I put it together for you.
Did everybody review that?
Yep.
If anyone has any feedback on it, if they would change anything or anything you felt was unasked.
No, and I think it's fine, and if people felt like something was not applicable to them, that they don't know much about, they can just write. It's not like the last one where it was like 15 sections and like half of them, the old evaluation was
Oh,
very
wow.
cumbersome.
Yeah, that
This
seems-
one, we kept it down to
Yeah.
six sections.
Yeah, I'm glad we're
But-
getting their feedback.
But people can, if they don't feel like they know the information, then they just wouldn't fill it out. So, I need a
I'll make a
motion.
motion to approve the superintendent evaluation survey.
I'll second.
Fran?
Fran.
Fran got me.
Yeah.
Fran, sorry. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions. Okay. Next, we had a late addition for a field trip. This is a field trip sponsored by the Drug-Free Communities grant that we have, so it would be at no cost. It would be 6 students, 4 chaperones. It would be 9:24 to 9:25 overnight at Keene State College. Going down for the Getting to Why student mentoring. I know you mentioned a bit about it earlier. So I need a motion, because it's overnight, we have to approve it. So I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, okay? Next is approve the superintendent to hire professional staff. No, professional staff, you mean like teachers?
Yep,
Okay.
but I wrote that before number 5's additions, because I think I'm all set.
Okay, so we don't have, okay.
So the good news of the
I'll
amended
cross
agenda
off.
is we're hiring our last professional staff tonight.
Wonderful.
Okay, so we will not
You don't need to
approve.
do that
Okay,
anymore.
perfect. So next, we have a new hire. We have Rebecca Brown for Bristol Elementary Special Education. I need a motion to approve the new hire.
I'll make a motion to approve the new hire.
I will second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, okay? Next, we have a retirement that
You're not going to approve?
I announce with disgust. I mean, I don't know how he could be doing this. Mr. LeBaron is retiring at the end of this year. I just can't believe it. He's a staple.
He started here in 1998 and has taught French, Latin, drama, Spanish. Would have
Because I
liked to
think
have
he
seen
started halfway through the year.
that. Yeah. Oh, it did.
Because
He
we
did.
graduated in '98. I think he started halfway through the year, because he was our French teacher senior year.
He was a one-act director for several years as well. Avid photographer with the students.
Mr. Haley?
Quiz
No,
bowl.
Mr. Powers.
Oh, yeah.
Remember,
Yeah,
Mr. Powers was the French teacher.
Yeah.
And I believe this year will, well, obviously, since he's retiring, but this year will be his last French trip. I don't know how many French trips he's done over the years, but
More
imagine
than 5.
yeah.
I don't know, his senior French class broke him in well his first year, poor guy. But I guess I will make a motion to approve begrudgingly.
I will reluctantly second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions.
Mr.
Congrats to Mr. LeBaron, and I know he's, just like Mr. Sheldon, he's done so much for the district and the students and thinking outside the box, and we'll miss him. I'm sure he's not gonna disappear, but. All right, public comments on agenda items only?
Tom Caldwell, Bristol. The discussion of the Banwell contract, you never said how much money was involved and where that money would come from.
So the cost will be $74,700, and the money will come from some realized savings this year. We didn't fill all of our positions, as well as some of our hires were less than budgeted for if someone who retired and someone else, and we're gonna carefully watch our budget and make sure it fits in. It makes sense to do it now, so. But thank you for asking, and also, now that it's voted in public, we will include it as part of the materials tonight.
Thank you. All right. Yes, go ahead, sorry.
So Sarah Old, New Hampton. I am so happy that we are a cell phone free school. My students are more engaged. I expected some of them to have a very difficult time, and I haven't seen it. It's been really a marvelous, pleasant experience. So thank you to you, thank you to the state.
Thank you. All right, board member comments.
I got nothing.
We have nothing either. Well, good luck to everybody this year, sports teams, everything else. Sounds like the new band teacher at the high school is gonna get a pep band going.
Yes.
I just got that email today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, going to games and which kids can go to which games, which I think will be good for like the homecoming game and thing. It'll be fun.
It's great.
It'll be
It'll
fun.
take away the bucket drum.
Oh yeah, middle school's first football game is this Wednesday at home.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
No, they play at the high school, right?
What's that?
Middle school, they play at the high school?
Yep, we
Yeah.
played it, yep.
Whatever direction I am, over there somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, those new lights out there look lovely.
Yeah, the lights are awesome,
Yeah.
the LEDs.
I mean,
And
when
not
I
in danger of falling on
no,
anyone?
no, the new lights in the parking lot look amazing.
Good. Yes. Armin acted quickly on that.
Yep.
That was a good, smart move.
Yep.
All right.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes, sir.
I'll
The
second.
new
Oh,
doors
sorry.
are marvelous.
Oh, the new
We
door.
got new
Yep.
doors over the
Yep.
summer, and they are so nice. The lift that you go out the door is lower, so it's easier to get carts across it, and the doors, I'm just very happy with the new doors.
Oh, wonderful.
Good.
Good.
It's
It's
the little things.
it's little things, but it's great to hear the feedback
that's
too.
great.
Like, that's right. That's a new door.
Yeah.
Well, because when you talk about our aging facilities, this is our newest facility, and the doors are, some of them were rotting off and couldn't close or wouldn't open, or we had one problem, one wouldn't close and one
Remember
wouldn't
that
open.
one was-
so-
The rust hole.
The rust hole in the side,
I'm
like,
like, oh
yeah,
yeah, well, it does look good.
you're right. Thanks for pointing that out.
Now I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions,